Hi, my name is John Smith. Welcome to Kingdom Real. I'm so excited you're joining us for this episode because I have my friend CJ Dolehanty here, and you're going to love her and her story. So why don't you begin by sharing a little bit of your family of origin? What was it like in the family you grew up in?
Well, I come from a family of 5. My parents have 3 daughters, and I'm the youngest.
So you're the youngest of 3 daughters?
Yes, I am the youngest of 3 daughters. My 2 sisters are close in age. They're a year apart, and I am a few years down the line from them. So I was kind of, I did a lot by myself because they were close in age, so they spent a lot of time together, things like that. So I grew up that way a lot. As I got older, I had lots of time with my friends. I was very, very close with my friends. I always have been, I still am.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you were to think about your childhood, most of us have memories of something that just got, what would be 1 or 2 memories that just kind of you hold on to some really good times in your family?
Oh, well, we had every year on Christmas Eve, I grew up in a Catholic family, and so on Christmas Eve, my sisters and I would be in the church choir. And so we would go to the late service, and we would be in the choir with our great robes, and it was so dark, because it was nighttime, and the church was just beautiful, and candles and poinsettias everywhere. And then after church, all of my dad's family, his 2 sisters and their kids, we went to the same church. So we would all meet at one of our houses, and we would have a big Christmas celebration. And that was our Christmas every year. It was just something that I know I looked forward to all year round.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite childhood family memories.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, so if you were then, in contrast, to think of some dark, painful thing that you went through, what comes to mind?
Honestly, my first childhood memory is when I was about 3. And if memory serves, it was my birthday, or we were celebrating my birthday, and we were going to have family over. And it was warm out, and so I didn't have a lot on. I was a little 3-year-old girl, and I remember very clearly that my father was quite disgusted as he told me to go cover myself up. And I just I didn't know how to process that, it was kind of like a deer in the headlights moment, and I'm certain that's why I remember it so well. Wow. Because it just, I did not have any idea how to process that. And that was really just the beginning of a life of that.
Wow. So that's a pretty vivid memory for 3.
And it's interesting because my mother had a picture. I don't know if she still does, but there was a picture of me that day.
In that outfit that
yes,
day?
Yes.
So looking at that as an adult, what did you see?
I see, if I saw it today, I would look at that and see a sweet and beautiful little girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no wonder the response in you was so convoluted and confused, and you didn't know how to process that.
No, and I did not. It's only recently that I can look at that in any objective way, because I never felt like a sweet, cute little girl at all.
Do you mind sharing where it went from there?
Oh, sure. Well, I guess the best way that I can describe it is there weren't really, that I could tell, really any rules for life, except you do what I say when I say it. Okay. But I wasn't really able to have my own personality, and I have quite a personality, and so that was not appreciated or supported in any way, and it just wouldn't, I'm just who I am.
Yeah.
And so that was not really conducive to the environment in which I grew up. So I feel like looking back, I definitely felt like as I was growing up, truly, that I was just kind of trying to maneuver between being shamed and bullied and belittled and punished for I don't even know what most of the time. I would have done anything to know the rules, to live by, because I would have gladly followed them just to avoid that. But I just felt like I just wasn't right. There was not anything about me that was right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very confusing, and quite honestly, it was very traumatic. There was a lot of trauma in that.
So their rules were made up in the moment?
I guess. I honestly don't even know.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was not that way for my sisters. And I can't say, I can only speak for myself, certainly.
Sure.
But I did not get the sense that that happened to them. I felt like the target in my family. And I could be wrong. Again, I don't want to speak for anyone but myself.
Well, that's how it felt.
Yes, it's absolutely how it felt.
Yeah. As you look at personalities and how people are wired, are you completely different than your sisters, or not so much?
I think so.
Okay.
We are, we're some Irish girls, and so we do have the sass going on.
Okay.
But some of us are more sassy than others, and it's just how God made me.
And some people appreciate that more than others.
Some people do, and some people do not.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as you remember how that's playing out, so it starts when you're 3.
Yeah.
And then how does that play out, like now you're 8, 9, teenagers? How does that surface, and how does that go with you?
I really, a lot of it, I could never put it into words as a child. So I can talk about it from words that I've been able to assign to it as an adult.
Okay.
Because as a child, I was so confused. And the truth is, I actually, because of that, because it was so hard for me to articulate as I became an adult and really pinpoint what is this I'm feeling, and things like that. I did some research and read a lot of things. And I do know that childhood trauma absolutely affects your brain development.
Okay.
And so, like I said, when I would feel, okay, a good way to describe it is that, say I'm just going along my merry way and something comes and just interrupts me and is scary and awful, and so I change direction, and I'm going in that direction, and it happens again, so I go in this direction. That's what I felt like my whole life. That is the best way I can describe it. So I was so confused, and it was hard for me to, I was kind of sassy a lot because I just didn't know how to behave. And, I'm sure I acted out. Yeah. So that was when I was very young.
Okay.
And so as I got older, I just felt completely worthless. I will say my dad's nickname for me was dumb shit. Hey, dumb shit, come here. Come here, dumb shit, do this. And that's how I felt.
Oh, sorry. So that was a regular pattern.
Oh, yes. So I just really didn't think I was worthy of anything good. So what that extended into is, as I got older, and it wasn't on purpose, but certainly as I became a teenager, rebellion really set in.
Okay.
And as every day I swear that I got older, I just instinctively did whatever I needed to and whatever I could to live up to that nickname and that expectation.
Wow.
Yes.
So there was great power in those words.
Oh, yes. Oh, they formed my identity for myself. Definitely.
So if this is who you think I am, then
Oh,
that's
let
what I
me
need
tell
to live
you,
out.
you're going to see it. Here I am.
Wow.
Yes. And now I will contrast that with I had my first communion when I was, I want to say 5.
Okay.
And from that age, I desperately wanted to know what God said in the Bible. And I don't know why. I mean, it was just a desperate need that I felt as that young little girl. And I got, for a gift for my first communion, I got a little Bible. And it was King James. And so
Me too. That's where it started.
Yes. And so I was so excited and I opened it and I could not understand a word of it. And I was devastated.
Oh, no.
Yes, because I mean, I thought I had the mysteries answers right in front of me. Yeah. So, yeah, that was disappointing. But that desire never left me. And so it was alongside all of the terrible things I thought of myself was, and I never thought God loved me. I never thought he would ever think I was worth anything. So it didn't have anything to do with that. He just put that in me.
Wow.
And now I can see that it really saved me.
Okay.
But at the time I just knew I wanted that.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I didn't really learn a lot at church.
Okay.
So, so that was something I sought out, but really didn't have an avenue to learn much as when I was growing up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is, again, when I look back, that's kind of interesting to me. They're very, very different aspects of my mindset.
Wow.
Yeah.
But a desire to read the scripture
Yes.
and to find out who God was and
Yes.
what he thought of you, but
Yes.
a little bit more modern translation would have helped a little bit.
Yes. Or anyone to tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that just didn't happen in the family?
No.
Okay.
No. We were very much into the tradition of the church,
Okay.
and we were regular church goers.
Okay.
Yep. So we stopped going when I was probably in late elementary school. Yeah. So as it happened, as I became an adult, I was in my early 20s, if that, very early 20s,
Okay.
that I first experienced a Bible teaching church.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And they had every Sunday evening, the pastor would do, it was really just education.
Like a Bible study.
Yes. Yeah. I was so thrilled. I learned more at that church than I had ever known. Well, I hadn't known really anything. And I just soaked it up like a sponge.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Yes. And I thought, oh boy, I can do this, and I can, now I know the rule book, and, so I was so excited. And I actually was fortunate enough to learn what it means to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And it was just the most magical moment of my lifetime.
Wow.
Yes. So you would probably think that I just became a well-behaving Christian woman, and that just didn't happen. And because there was that, it didn't take away from everything I was. And again, I just thought I was nothing, and I was unworthy, and I had more anger and rage and pain than I even knew. And by the time I left home, I would say, it definitely was just the lens through which I saw the world, through which I lived. It dictated everything I thought and said and did, no matter what I felt inside. I just couldn't get around it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that that anger, that rage was constantly there.
Yes. And I tried to get rid of it. I would talk about it, well, when I was a child in school.
Yeah.
My friends were everything to me because they loved me unconditionally.
Okay.
And I had none of that anywhere else. And so I glommed onto them for dear life. And so as I would talk about things that happened at home, they didn't believe me.
Oh.
Because it was just so hard to comprehend that could actually happen. The things that were said to me and that I witnessed, things like that. And that was so hard for me because
They didn't believe you.
no.
Yeah.
And
These are your friends.
exactly. And I couldn't understand why, if someone knew me, my friends know me, I would never, why would anyone make that up as a little child, But they were children too. They didn't know any better. However, once middle school came around and my close friends were around my house a lot, without a doubt, there was no objection anymore.
Oh, then they began to see and
Oh,
hear.
yes. Oh, yes. And that was just life-altering for me, to be believed and supported and have someone I could talk to them, and they would listen and believe me. And again, we were children, they really couldn't do anything, but that was okay.
Yeah.
Just that being able to speak of it and be heard was tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank God for those friends.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I am still friends with one of them, a gal I grew up with. And she is, I think I've counted recently, and I have maybe 4 or 5 friends that are just kind of my universe as far as love goes, And I just, because of I just learned as I was growing up that these are the people that will always be there. And they have been. Yeah.
That's cool. So God was blessing you with friends.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you were learning that He loved you. Or did that
I
take a
couldn't
little while?
see it
You
that
couldn't see
way.
that
I
yet.
could not at all see it, to
Okay.
tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The truth is what we're after.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, knowing how very, very much my friends meant to me and do mean to me, I will tell you, when I have a picture from my first communion, and my very best friend growing up, he was a boy, and we went to the same church. We grew up together there, and I have a picture of us together. I don't remember not knowing him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good long
Yes.
relationship.
Oh, yes. And I think that it was especially wonderful for me because he was a boy. You know, it was a male who, and again, I did not have a clue as a child. It was wonderful. And we were just two peas in a pod. And boy, he put up with my sass. I don't know how, but he was a good boy. And so, throughout the years, you know, we just spent so much time at each other's houses, and really, he actually grew up with 5 older brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
So
he
you're
was
both
the
youngest.
baby. Yes. So he was the baby of a lot of boys, and I came from a house of girls. And so I had 6 brothers. You know, that's how I felt, and that's what my heart believed.
Yeah.
And every one of them treated me like I was their sister. And
that's
it
awesome.
was heaven when I would be at his house. Just, I had never known what a family love like that was outside of that. It was just incredible.
Wow.
So it was, as I said, just heavenly to have these brothers every time I was there. As we got older, because we didn't live in the same town, so we didn't go to the same
Oh, you
school.
weren't in the same town?
No.
Oh, okay. I
No.
thought you were, yeah.
No, and so, which was really great because it was very exciting to
Yeah.
have someone who
That
wasn't.
increases the adventure.
Yes, yes, definitely. So as we got older, you know, we started high school, and he was always my date to the dance. Whenever we had a formal, it was just wonderful. Oh, we had so much fun. So, but he was not my boyfriend, you know, it wasn't like that ever. So as we did get to the age where you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, we just kind of didn't really spend time together anymore. We kind of had our own lives, and I had my own activities, and we were, again, at different schools and everything. So, and it really didn't faze me because that just doesn't go away. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
like, well, he's just part of my life. He's part of me, and so is his family. And so, you know, it was wonderful. And I will never forget the summer, like right before I left for college, I was going to get a haircut, and it was in a town I didn't live in nearby, and I was going to get my haircut, and he just happened to work in that town, and I didn't know it, and I ran into him on the sidewalk. And so it was just wonderful. And we had, as I said, I was going to college, so we both graduated already, and so we talked for a minute, you know, and we both had to go, and I said, oh, got to give you a hug. So got to give him a hug goodbye. It was wonderful. Went on my merry way. And then went to college, and so that was the summer. And so that winter in February, I was away from my dorm room, and I came home about 11 o'clock at night, and one of my roommates said, hey, your mom called. And I'm like, okay. And she said, and she wants you to call her. And I said, but it's 11. She said, just call her. And that was not going to be good. because that never happened. Yeah, so I did, and I called her, and she answered, and I said, "Hey, Mom, what's wrong?" Because I knew that's why she had called me. And she was very quiet, and she said that he had an accident. And I said, "Oh, okay, well, give me the number to his hospital room, and I'll call him." And she paused, and she said, "He passed away." And I just shattered.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So I said, "Okay, when you come to get me?" And she said, "Oh, we're not." And I said, "Well, of course, I got to go to the funeral." "No, we're not going to get you." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to go now. I'm going to hang up because I'm going to start walking." And she said, "Oh, you are certainly not going to do that." And I said, "Oh, but yes, I am." And I'm like, "Really? Yeah, I'm going to go now." And so then she backpedaled. Oh, okay. Well, we'll come get you." Okay. So we made plans for them to come get me.
And they knew the significance of the relationship.
My mother later told me that she was trying to protect me from the pain of going to that funeral.
And instead caused more pain.
Oh, yes. Beyond.
Wow.
Didn't say that's why she was saying no.
Right, you didn't
Just said,
understand
"Nope."
it.
And I would have walked, gladly.
No matter how far.
Oh, yes. Still would today.
All these years later, still brings emotion,
Yes.
and that's a good thing.
It is. It really
It's a
is.
sign of deep love for another
Yes.
person.
Just does not end.
Yeah. Too many people are afraid of their emotions. See a tear trickling down your cheek when you talk about your best friend. That's what Jesus did.
Yes. Yes.
Right
On
in front of everybody.
purpose.
On purpose.
On purpose.
As his friend Lazarus had died. And he grieved and he
Yes.
wept. So you're a lot like Jesus. You are. I'm John Smith. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kingdom Real. It gets real here, and we thank God for it. Jesus loves you, and I do too. See you next time.